It was looking close while things were kind of looking even, right? CT side for Luminosity, but then when they get onto their T side, Ghost Gaming rules supreme, and they did it in a pretty convincing fashion as well.
Yeah, most definitely. I mean, it was a very brawly first half, first of all, and that's always very hard for the City side if you have to like go back and forth where rounds are going one for you, one for the opponent, meaning that you're really struggling for money a lot of the time, and especially on a map like Inferno where utility is just emphasized so much, it makes CT side super hard. So yes, you can definitely give credit for Luminosity to be able to scrape through that one and give themselves the advantage going to halftime. And also, you also have to give them credit for being able to weather the storm, because the way that Ghost approached the T side, they upped the tempo a bunch of times, just trying to plummet into that A bomb side quite a few rounds, actually. There was an unfortunate round for them where Ghost was very low on money. They decided to go for a force buy. Again, they plummet through middle towards the A bomb site. A couple of the guys from Ghost actually super low as they entered the bomb site. They still managed to win the crucial duels, and Ghost wins the round. One of those kind of situations where it looked early on that, yes, definitely Luminosity should have had the upper hand, but it just slipped away at the end of the day. So, yeah, I mean, going through the first half, you got to be okay with Luminosity managing to get that 8-7 on the board.
Well, we're going to take a quick look at round 12 that we had a look at, because it was kind of a thing that changed the tide, right? We saw Ghost, they were down around. Luminosity, they didn't have the strongest money. They go in for a force. It doesn't pay off for them. It kind of sets the tone for the rest of the half.
Yeah, I mean, this is like a false sense for Luminosity that Ghost would actually be low on money. If you look on the right side, you can see that there's a buffer of around worth of money for Ghost. Look at this utility damage that happens early on the round. You have both Nekas and Lucas go down very much so on HP. Nekas actually 47 and Lucas only with 4 HP left. Now the interesting part is that they decide to rotate that third player off from the B bomb side in this situation, and what is more curious as well is that they actually decide to leave Lucas on the bomb side with only 4 HP. I thought that was super weird.
Yeah.
Usually you would rather have whoever was the third guy get left in the bomb side, or at least the guy with half health, because obviously when Lucas goes down, that's a massive issue, whereas the player playing the bomb side could be getting a kill or 2 kills, which would make a massive difference in the outcome of the round.
Well, we looked at it, right, and we're thinking one nade, one molly, anything, just one tick from a molly and he'll be going down. So you put yourself in a struggled situation anyway, and this is a round that kind of...
Well, this is a round where it ended up being a big push, and it is Lucas that managed to get these kills. Somehow, still converting. So, okay, that nullified in the sense. But then, as it's a 3-on-4 situation, becomes an afterplan. Just look at how slowly Luminosity even managed to rotate. Yell here on top middle. It's just stuck because of Kuska. Kuska's just playing Bigaboo in the pit here, making Yell having to rotate all the way through 8 bombs and CT spawn. And it actually even becomes a 4-on-2. And if you look on the side of the CTs, there's no defuse kit in the play. They have only 3 flashes left, but still they have a massive manpower. They should just be plummeting in, trying to make sure that they get these duels straight away, but it's the first 2 kills going the way of Ghost. And they managed to delay this plant so far that it's almost close, but no cigar for still, and the bomb actually does explode. That's going to be around for a Ghost, and that gamble doesn't pay off for Luminosity. They managed to stay an AWP, and it doesn't spiral out of control as much as it could have, but essentially that could have been a really key part of the, in the sense of Ghost managing to win the half with that 1-round win. Big part, obviously, in the second half. If we talk about that, I mean, they only managed to scrape, what, 3 rounds altogether, and they won the pistol round on that second half. That's not good enough. And Luminosity's T-sides are super uninspired, and it's actually awful to watch. I'm going to be honest.
And we expect so much better from the Brazilian Steel, right? He's a team that's led lineups for the longest time. Maybe chance for him now to kind of look back at that playbook and say, okay, how do I improve things? Maybe I take a leaf out of some of the better teams' books, because we're not seeing enough from them here.
It feels like he's lost his playbook, if anything, at this point in time.
He's like he's just gone, there's no pages.
Not a single round in their T half where I thought, there's a plan behind this. There's a goal that they're trying to accomplish. Instead, I mean, that round they lost against an eco. They lost the round against a full eco, taking mid-control. Taking mid-control is fine, but not utilizing your utility is not fine. You can smoke off either left or right side, use some molly for either under the little roof or into the what's the corner called? Like on the arch side of things, you got the noob corner, whatever you want to call it, the little closet, so that you can like try to isolate the players one by one, get the cockroaches out of the corners. But instead, they go in dry. They get killed from the left side. They turn, everyone turns. They get killed from the right side. They turn. They get killed from the left. You know, it's like a house of cards just falling down one by one by one. Yeah, no, it's just funny to watch. And then eventually, obviously, it collapsed fully. But also, like, yeah, afterwards, the way they were trying to construct rounds was basically like, yes, let's wait for the CTs to throw in grenades in Banana, but let's not contest it too much. Let's wait them to do things. 30 seconds left. Let's just have a player creep up middle. Okay, Subroza, for some reason, in this instance that I'm thinking of, is playing aggressive in Arch. He loses a duel, and that gives a window of opportunity for Luminosity to go in. But instead, you know, Subroza should have already backed off. That deep into the round, just pucker the bomb side, have good crossfires. It's very hard for a T side to try to make a round out of that if you don't, unless you have like a sick execute and sick way to execute it. And when you're talking about Luminosity, what are the odds on that happening, honestly? So like those are the way that you're constructing rounds. They're not sustainable. You're not going to be winning games, and effectively they only get 3 rounds on T side, and that's game over.
I'm really happy, by the way, you didn't make me say the name of that spot, because if you look at UK Counter-Strike and what that spot is called, I can't say it on the broadcast. So when you said it, I'm just looking at you like, yeah, let's leave that one.
There has to be like a safe version.
I don't know. People I play with definitely don't use the safe words.
No, I mean, I'm not just suggesting they would, but I'm saying there has to be.
Yeah, there's got to be a nicer way of saying it.
Let's just call it closet.
Closet, that'll do. Yeah. I'm not going to say it. It's just in my head now. Let's make sure
just
I don't buy a mistake. Yeah, I'll tell you. You'll enjoy it. You'll certainly enjoy it. You played in the UK scene. You know what some of these spots are called. Yeah. Next, though, we're moving on to Train. Now, Train, again, okay, with this current lineup of Ghost, we've only seen it played twice. If you include Neptune, you knock him out of the equation. We see a bit more of a stats there, but they've beaten Renegades on it, and they've beaten E United. Now, the Renegades game we saw, didn't we? And that was very close, went all the way to overtime, but Ghost are so good when they get into overtime. They're not phased by it. They managed to stay strong and play their A game here. Luminosity, on the other hand, though, it's a string of losses. And this is what worries me, because a team like Luminosity, where you've got Henny and Lucas, they should be able to just deliver pure firepower on a map like Train, especially with the AWPs. The double up setup can come into play so nicely. Add Yell into the equation.
Technically speaking, yes.
Technically, yes, exactly.
But the big but here is the fact that you need to create those openings. You need to have means to actually utilize those players.
Yep.
Meaning that someone needs to be the guy with the flashes, having them timed right, have some sort of smokes they'll throw in to isolate certain spaces so that they'll have the avenues that they can go and take duels with. Instead, if you're going to keep on throwing 15 times, you know, Hail Marys, someone just going Z connector and trying to make a play, it ain't going to work, you know. On the other hand, you have someone like Ghost who combine both just set pieces and then also having grinding rounds where they'll either work Ivy, they'll work teammate, they'll take ladder control, they'll try to push the CTs all the way back towards the back of the bomb train as much as possible. Then they'll have a couple of nice flashes, boom, they'll come at you. And they'll make it CTs that need to have super good coordination for them to be able to just defend the bomb site anymore. So I feel that's the fundamental difference between these two teams as well. And on a map like Train, simultaneous, same as on Inferno, that's not a playstyle that can work. It can work on a map like Dust 2, it can work on a map like Cash, on Overpass on occasion, especially if a team is playing aggressive and you keep on capitalizing on that, winning the opening duels, far away from the bomb sites. But on a map like this, no, you need to have something constructed for you to be actually good. Plus for the CT side as well. I mean, unless you have different ways of playing aggressive CT side, things ain't going to be nice for you.
Well, things certainly weren't nice in the first map for Luminosity. Let's see if they can turn the tides here as we move on to Train. And now I can hear everything. Now I know what's going on. I've got no tech problems. I certainly know which commentators are ready to do it. It's Tom Biz and Risk. Please, boys, take it away.
Thank you very much, James. And we will not throw you under the bus and call you any other names this time around. He's doing a great job, isn't he?
Wait, that wasn't Machine. I thought Machine was the one who
to be honest, that's a compliment because
off,
Alex is just so good.
Yeah, I thought Machine was the one who was always showing off the chest.
He has been working out, my man James. Actually, I want to get on that grind. Like he's been on a workout grind. I'm adding on a few kilos. That's
I like
what happens when you get engaged.
I really want to get on this grind, and then in front of us we have a bowl of sweets, a bowl of Oreos, a bowl of chocolate, 4 cans of Coke, some
I
coffee.
got a whole pitcher of coffee and milk.
It seems like you're ready for that grind.
Yeah.
It's like, but the second I leave this room, the grind begins.
The second I stop doing commentary today, I'll get on that grind, and then another event calls and you have to go. But I'm not going to complain. We're living the dream, Tom.
No, I get to be unhealthy. I get paid, and I get to talk about.
It's basically the 13-year-old dream. Like,
yeah,
that's what I wanted to do when I was 13 years old, and when I was 16 years old,
and now.
So it's basically the dream. Let's just cut out the whole middle part.
I don't know. I'm pretty sure when I was younger, I wanted to be a dinosaur. So, but that never came true. You know, some dreams don't come true. Risk. I'm not.
Why a dinosaur?
Rex?
Because you have short arms?
No, I just quite like the idea of roaming the earth and killing people. Okay. Sounds quite sadistic when you say it out loud.
Of course, the reason why we're not talking about the game yet is because we have a technical timeout. We're still waiting for Ghost and Luminosity to get started. But it's just a mic issue. It will be fixed in a very short time. So no reason to run away from the monitor. You can pour yourself a cup of coffee. I just did. If you're watching in EU, if you're watching from the NA, hello and welcome. I'm not actually sure what the time is, but it's probably around noon or something like that. Early
You can still
afternoon.
drink coffee at noon.
You can drink coffee if you want. You can do anything you want. It's a free world.
Well. You can't do anything you want.
There are rules,
leave.
laws, and stuff. But it's the home of the free, land of the brave. So they can do anything they want.
Okay, cool.
Within the limit of the law, of course. Yeah. Do not break the law. Thank you. Risk 20.
Unless it's fun for everyone. Then, I don't know, then you can sort of...
That's a slippery slope.
Well, either way, we're going to have a bit of an aggressive push around this ramp. Looking to barrel in towards this side. There's a couple of players ready and waiting. Steel has himself the kit, and Kusta, who was the star of the show in the first map, looking to kick it off the same way. Now, they've got a couple of players looking to try and push late in towards this A side, and it looks like they're going to wrap back around to join up with them. However, they may not be there.
Neptune with the first one of the match for him. Lucas also taken out. That was Kusta taking that frag. Ghost with a prime position to take this pistol round. Once again, Steel, the in-game leader, comes into play. And they're just not getting in towards the bomb site. They're just not moving. Henny with the raid boss setup has not done anything yet so far. And now he has a 1v5. And yes, he gets the first one, and that's all good and dandy. The round, there's no way it's going to go his way.
That looked like one of the most reactive pistol rounds I think I've ever seen. Try and push B, didn't work. Go back to A, didn't work. Go back to B, no, it didn't work. And they were just getting whittled away. Like, Ghost Gaming pretty much didn't have to move all the way through that one. Obviously, with the new-ish economy, they do only have to eco for one round. Henny's going to invest into a flashbang. Obviously, there's no chance of him getting an AWP into the next, unless, of course, they get the bomb down. Which, to be honest, on this map of any, it's possible. We got a Bison!
There we go, Tom.
Kusta's got a Bison. Here we go. Okay, here we go. Bison. Oh, it's not the ace. Henny's ruined it. He's ruined the Bison ace. But, hey, 4 frags with a gun that pretty much is just not used.
6,150 on Kusta. Getting that money.
I'd love how that worked. It's just, to be fair, you basically have unlimited bullets.
Yeah. You just hold down mouse 1.
It's basically like a cork gun, though. Really
Interesting enough, we do see Henny on the T-side AWP glass cannon. No utility behind it either, so this is a bit of a risk. But Wardell's kind of reading this and has purchased an AWP of his own, but that is with head armor behind it and some utility as well. So now, Luminosity, once again, as they usually do, they want to focus and bank on the explosiveness of their team. They want to bank on those individual duels instead of the team setup, the executions, and the utility. They want to make sure they win their 1v1s.
Well, that's the thing. You sort of say, like, what strategy? Because that's the thing I really haven't seen until. Maybe they'll prove me wrong and have some sort of backup strats, but that's what you expect from this team. Explosive firepower. Henny bringing in the glass cannon pretty much just amplifies that idea that they want him to try and find picks. I want him to be set up into aggressive positions, but it's sort of what Natu was saying on the desk. It's like, you can have these individual players, but you need somebody there to actually set them up. And I think that's where Steel becomes so much more of a crucial factor within this team, is somebody who can play that more supportive role. Even though Steel up front, the Molotov's good. It will burn players down. They still got Wardell, or they did have Wardell, and Kusta. Surprise! He's going to peek right out, managed to drop the bomb, can't do anything more, but he's bought a bit of time. So Rosa, well, simple kill for Yell, and Neptune now in a bit of a predicament. Now they bought the AWP into this round to try and bolster what was a bit of a weaker buy based off a early purchase able to come in now. And now they kind of, if they go for anything here, they'll be in the same spot.
Let's see. It's going to be 2 scouts, an AWP, MP9, and potentially another SMG. No, it's going to be the farmhouse from Neptune, but still some utility behind it. Penny's continuing with the AWP after 2 frags the last round. That's a nice thing to continue off. It's very close to hitting that first one. Nekis will go into Pop Dog, though. Surely will win this duel. Going in to face the next one, but that's Kusta. Lucas win another one to open up the round. Neptune now pushed back, and Wardell having a hard time connecting these scout shots. Now pushed away by the Molotov as well.
Yeah, they haven't been able to isolate him just yet, but well, there shouldn't be much hope for a double scout setup. The T side, all they really need to do is trade effectively. Now, obviously, there's the advanced movement. Somebody definitely needs to help out Lucas a little bit, and it should be the man wrapping around in the form of Steel that will just be able to end this round in its tracks. He's got the perfect position to finish this one off. Now, they don't know where the final man is, but the fact is the second any sort of bomb plant comes in, anything of the sort, this round is over. And while Wardell, he has the elevated position, but that's about it. No kit, no real utility, and no real hope.
Yeah, what he can hope for here is just getting a kill, making sure the economy of Luminosity doesn't run away. And that's the shot he had right now. He will hit the second one, though. Lucas offers it up, and Wardell takes its secondary one, so nice. This is now down to 2 players. This is exactly what he wanted there. 2 kills coming in. The economy will not grow that much. Luminosity, yes, they get the bomb down. Yes, they win the round, but only 2 players surviving. We do see the double Mac 10 now. And that's the perfect read. Ghost Gaming on a complete eco. Triple nade stack, though. Probably going to see those come into main.
Oh, nice surprise for Henny. He does like to take this aggressive peek, and they're going to go right into his position, and goodbye. Nice little strategy. Removes that AWP. Luckily, Steel is there to just defend it, which is always going to be important.
It's just such a classic as well. Like, you read that they have an eco, but you still want to peek aggressively into main. I don't really understand that. But
he can't get any more, surely. 2 kills already for Steel. Obviously, one of those with the grenade. But that second kill with the USP, just 2 taps to the head, was wonderful. He's trying to survive on the top of the train. I don't think he's been spotted. I don't know how. There we go. Steel will finally realize. I suppose it was a bit like looking in a mirror. And didn't quite understand that it wasn't his reflection.
Also because the player, or one of the players on the other side, is literally called the same thing. It can be hard, Tom.
Life is hard, Riz.
Imagine just...
Not for us, but...
5 Tom Bisses on the same server.
Honestly, I think that'd be the most toxic team possible, to be honest. Like, I wouldn't want to play in that match.
I probably would. Just for the sheer entertainment.
The thing is, whoever had more Tom Bizzes, like, because you said obviously like some per side. If it was like 3 on one side and 2 on the other, the one with 3 would definitely lose.
I like you, Tom. You have a lot of confidence in yourself. I think that's important as a CS player. And you definitely sound.
Well, there's a reason I've never gone pro. Oh, there we go. Nice little angle on the HE stack. But yeah, they get a couple of kills there. They have managed to keep the T side honest. Henny, although he was the man to lose his life, still has plenty of money in the bank. And now we actually get the purchase on the CT side. Now, Kusta's gone for what I will call the Chris J special.
Yeah.
The MP7 in hand. They're going to go for the double nade stack again. Now, even if they just keep, like, quote-unquote, wasting that utility, like, it doesn't do anything, it still means that Henny's just never going to go for those peaks, which is one of the big parts, I feel, of his game. It's just these aggressive early picks. And when he falls into these slower sort of default plays, I feel like his worth as a player significantly devalues. You want him going aggressive. You want him taking fights.
That's also why that triple nade stack in the eco round we just saw before is so important, because that will make him shy away from that pain position, because now he felt the pain of that stack coming in, and it kind of sits in the back of your mind as an old player. Are they going to do that again? If they do, I'm going to be dead without taking a single shot. And I mentioned this time and time again, and you can talk to the players if you don't believe me. Being an AWPer on a pro team comes down to, yes, training and aim and all that stuff in team play, but as an AWPer, your mentality and your own confidence is so important. And if you get shaken in that confidence, then you're not going to be a good AWPer. It's as simple as that.
So that's why I'm bad. It's all confidence. It's
all
not
confidence.
my skill at all.
Yeah.
That's what I've just learned, ladies and gentlemen. Anybody at home who's bad as AWPing, you just got to be confident. That is it. Don't need to practice.
Lucas actually just spotted the shadow, I think, of Kusta there. So they know that he was on the top of the
clock. They got 20 seconds left. They really do have to get their move on. And Kusta is going to be right up close to this smoke. MP7 perfectly placed. That's the bomb on the floor. They have to go for something here. Just waiting on the other side of the smoke. Okay, Henny gets a little bit lucky with the timing. But he just left the bomb. The round is over. Absolutely nothing they can do here. He's already just trying to pad his stats a little bit with the AWP, and Yell's on the other side of the map. That is a mess.
I'm just shaking my head in disbelief. Because, first off, Lucas spots one player on top of the train close by to lower. That means that they have to be aware of, he can either be on the train or he can be dropped down, but he's going to have to be close by. So you have to take care of every single angle, even maybe pop flash down. They die 2 players to an MP7, close range. And almost a third player dies as well.
Yeah. And even when he didn't, he had no intention of going for that bomb.
It might be because they actually had too much information, so they're so focused on the call that he was on top of the train that they just all spot on top of the train and no one spots lower. I don't know how to... I have to watch back the demo for that one, but that did look very weird.
A much faster play out from the T side. They've taken some control into A, and he misses the shot, though.
Confidence.
And that's the that's the opening right back in for the CT side. It was looking good for the Ts, but... Well, the thing is, the peek he took was very confident. Like, he was alone over towards that A site. They're now going to try and double back in towards B. It's the right call to make. Kusta will rotate in. He manages to shoot probably between the legs. Now, the nade may actually do enough. So low for Nekkis, but he will survive on just 5 HP, and Yell's going to be able to get that bomb down. It will come into a retake, but again, it's the same as in the last round. The CT side have opted to hold on to some of the utility. They've got 2 incendiaries for this retake. They also have a smoke and a couple of flashbangs. Now, the majority of players, at least in this position, have kits. The big problem is they all have AWPs. All of them. 3 in a retake. It's not the ideal scenario. They have to hope that the T side start peaking. Otherwise, this is going to be very difficult for them to get nice and close. But they find 2 quick kills. Steel now left with everything to do. He's going to go peeking through, and Kusta will put him down in a matter of seconds. They have to wait for it, though. I think they've just about got it. That is unbelievably close, but Ghost Gaming just about get it done. And the fact is, Wardell actually had to run into that Molotov.
That was very calculated. And he did it just in time to survive as well. I think he could have taken a couple more hits from the Molotov, but yeah, that was in the nick of time. But to continue off that, like, confidence talk, when you have a player kind of like Henny, who's a very, like, confident momentum player, when he gets behind and when he gets shaken, he'll start taking duels that he feels like he should hit, but are slightly out of reach because he wants to double back on that. And that's usually what happens sometimes when players... They get shaken, they want to get back into the game, so they kind of take a low chance of winning kind of chance. Basically, they take a duel they shouldn't be able to win because they want to bounce back into the game. Right now, that's one of them. He's only going to get 1 out of it, but still. Keeping the economy nice and low. Yeah. But it's so important. I love that this mentality of being behind and then taking even bigger chances to kind of even it up is so dangerous in many ways of life. It's not just only in CS, but like if you get behind, just focus on that slow grind instead of saying I got to make the sickest shot in the world.
I think the best example of that is gambling.
Yeah.
Like,
exactly.
Oh, I just lost 10 quid. If I bet 100, I could win 200, and then you lose more.
Yeah. Exactly. And it's the same in CS. It's just not as damaging unless you play in a major fight.
fast, aggressive play. They're trying to counter the CT side holding all of this utility into the later rounds just by going sheer aggression out towards this A side. The problem is CT side have done a pretty good job of holding this down. Steel. There's a man through the smoke, actually very low on HP. The Molotov is going to force him out of position, but it didn't seem like Henny was ready for that. And now Kusta can just find Steel and end his life. It's left onto Henny. And I feel like that round, a little bit more communication would have been enough.
Yeah.
The thing is, by the looks, I'm going to hazard a guess. And I reckon Steel did call what he was doing. He seems like he's definitely played those supportive roles. I think when he threw that Molotov out, he probably did say to Henny, look, peek down the side, free kill.
Yeah.
He didn't know, and that was what actually swung it into their favor. Once again, it's going to be Deagles. Now, as said before, in these sort of anti-eco positions, it has been pretty good for this side of the CTs. Sub Rosa, though, quick trade, and she's got to be careful he doesn't get overwhelmed here, but nice little cleanup. Lucas isolated by the Molotov. He's so good with his dig. Satchel Field, he gets a second as well. Starting to make things a little bit more interesting. Still, it's the same. He always seems to get 2 kills with the dig, and then he's like, and I am done.
Kusta and Wardell getting very nicely and warmed up here. 11 and 8 frags respectively with the orbs, and that's such a key part of the CT defense on Train, that you have that double orb setup up and running, and Wardell outside, Kusta who can rotate and play pretty much any position. You can rotate and play inside. You can play as a backup up outside. It's just so important they get started, and they get that confidence going. They feel like they can take on Henny, because usually if you put up, let's say, Kusta or Wardell in a 1v1 before a game, and you put them up against Henny straight up, you'd say, okay, Henny would probably win that 60, maybe 65% of the time. But now, because they are slowly starting to take duels that there's a bigger chance that they can win, they're going to get warmed up. They're going to get confidence. And now they're going to get that chance to pick off Henny, because Henny's not having a good game so far. And it is hard, yes, on this T side to AWP. That is true. We've said it time and time again. But you can either like try it and find a way to make it work, or you can just like leave it. You have to choose.
Oh, I feel like Yell is more than aware that there's a player around this corner.
Oh, Wardell's playing this perfectly. He's just holding the angle now.
Yeah, there shouldn't be really anywhere that Yell gets away with this. He does have another flashbang and a smoke, but you kind of don't really want to be using that utility to get out of this position.
He has to have his teammates flash for him, and that's what's going to be the case now. Oh no, doesn't go for the flash, goes for the peek, and that's Henny gone down. Another disappointing duel, and that's a nade.
That is just fantastic. The CT
this is
side,
such a great round from the CTs.
winning all of the duels, but also doing it with some extra utility along the way. Steel is going to hear all of the footsteps, and he will at least be able to close out his doppelganger. However, left in a 1 versus 4, needs to ace the round to win it. He's only got 45 seconds and no control of the ball. Already patient play, and Wardell will double up in the end. I love not only the fact that the flash, but we sort of spoke about it when we were talking about the T side. There needed to be some sort of flash to just enable a peek. Yeah. Instead, you see Henny dry peek it, and then on the opposite side for the CTs, Wardell trapped in a corner, pop flash comes in, he's able to peek, and then his teammate even throws out an extra nade just to make sure that he does some extra damage. It's like polar opposites.
Yeah, those initial 2 duels are the perfect picture of how this Train game has transpired so far, because it has been just Luminosity Gaming trying to win it off individual duels, and Henny continually keeping to like bring it back, taking more and more like harder and harder chances, because he believes that he can do it. And to be honest, let's be fair, like Henny has the individual quality to hit those shots every single time. But it's not like it's impossible for him. It's
the shocking thing there is he did hit the shot.
Yeah. But it's just a hard chance to take. You're taking a chance where you're at a disadvantage. You're forcing yourself to play your A game every single time, and that can sometimes be dangerous, especially if you're not on that level just yet. If you're not hitting your shots in this match or in this map. Want to start things off slowly and then work your way up.
Well, this round at least. Left on to just a scout.
Yeah, and once again, this is the buy. They're clearing out towards Ivy. They already have a CT in T main. So much map control on the CT side of things. You can see Luminosity Gaming, they're basically forced to like hold back up in spawn. One guy towards toilets, that's Steel. Now they're rotating in, but they have no control. They can't even get through to Ivy. even though there's no players there, they're so scared of whatever could be behind that smoke that's going to be fading, or the positions now. But Sabrosa here is in main. He should be the one to be really scared about. 1-for-1 trade, but a lot of information. No refrag from Neptune. That's kind of questionable, in my opinion.
And actually, they've got to be careful of the Ivy control that they don't currently have. Yell's going to be sneaking his way through, and this leaves a couple of teammates actually out to dry. Luckily, Steel will be able to spin around, but did they expect the second player? I think Nekkers is making quite a bit more noise than his teammate was, and that will allow for Kusta to gain the ground. It's left onto Lucas to try and be the hero, and it's not going to be the case. 30 seconds left. Won't matter in the end. I mean, it's going to be 9-3 in favor of Ghost Gaming, and I almost feel like there was so many moments there where the round could have gone the way of Luminosity. Like, Ghost Gaming's setup definitely didn't seem strong, to say the least. Like, it seemed like Wardell abandoned that Ivy spot, but it didn't look like they really switched the rest of their positions to actually rectify the fact that that was no longer under control. The fact is, though, Luminosity, the way they try and play that, it was just individual peaks. Like, Lucas was way behind his two teammates who peeked out of Ivy. Even the second teammate who came out Ivy was a good, like, 5 seconds behind the first man for absolutely no reason at all. And this is one of my pet peeves in CS. Why have you taken the bomb pop? Like, if you have pop, take the bomb there. Leave it at the top, then once you've taken it, take it down. But if you take the bomb down there, especially as a first man, if you lose that battle, you lose the round. You are screwed now. Because your whole round is about taking back pop, which they managed to do impressively.
That flashbang is very important, the way that they play around it. But Wardell bounces back with a nade. Now,
it's the nade back in pop again. The bomb's in there again, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
It fell back down.
Oh, okay. He's going to get that with 1 HP to spare. Let's see the wall bang. Come on. Oh.
I think they went for nades instead. Ultimately,
but this is impossible. Like, there's no way. 1 HP.
Well, this would be one of the greatest clutches of all time.
If he brings this, I don't know.
You might yell?
I'm going to eat the wrapping paper for the sandwich I have to the left of me, but I'm not going to.
Oh. To be fair, that's no eating a shoe.
That is true, but this is also just one round. This is not like a set up over multiple matches in a major.
Well, 10-3.
Yeah, it's looking very nice for Ghost Gaming.
Oh yeah, for sure. If you're a Brazilian fan or just a Luminosity fan, it's not the best position for them at the moment, but they do have the ult back into Henny.
And one thing we have to mention constantly, the star power that, like, when you have 2 stars like Lucas and Henny on your team, they can bounce back at any time in any game.
But not in this one, at least. So Bros at Neptune. But there is Henny, at least manages to find a pick. They're still at a man disadvantage, though, and there's multiple players around this A site, which they need to clear. Molotov going to be in to push Steel off, but the fact is it doesn't really matter because he can just sit at the back of the site and let these AWPs rattle off shots. There's going to be Steel to try and trade things back. Nice shot, and even goes to try and spray transfer into the second, who's already low on HP. Nade just dunked out. It's almost like a look, or don't look, shot from the CT player who's just run off.
That's the crossover, no-look, 3-pointer, buzzer beater.
Well, Henny, in the end, hung out to try. Kusta to get that kill as well. Wraps all the way back around.
Kusta's on 15-5.
Well, he was the top fragger with 27, I believe, in the first
He's been having a sick game so far. And Kusta is one of the... They mentioned it on the desk as well. He had that choke problem in the middle of his career when he was on Liquid, especially. But now it seems like he's found a team where he has confidence in himself and he has confidence in his teammates, and he doesn't feel the pressure as much.
I think that's the big thing. I think there was a lot more pressure in his previous rosters.
Neptune's just pushing out.
I don't blame them at this point. There's been
it's
no
so
punishing.
easy for them to take Ivy control away from this T side. And see, now he doesn't even have to put down the smoke. They just have to put down the Molotov, rotate away, have the AWP hold it, then have 1 player on the A-bomb side, 1 player to close pop, and then 2 guys inside. And they should be able to get at least 1 frag here, even a double from Steel, and this is more than they need.
This round
he's going to get the triple as well.
He even gets the 3rd through the smoke. Again, another disjointed attack, and while Henny just hoping for something ludicrous. Not going to happen. 12-3, absolute dominance on Train from Ghost Gaming, and Now they go into the second half with, again, another position where they win the pistol. They pretty much win out this game. It, yeah, definitely isn't looking the sort of showing. And we haven't even seen that sort of firepower that we spoke about before. Now, obviously, CT side is where you expect a lot more from Henny, for example. Yeah. But the problem is, I feel like they're just too far out of this one to even get that opportunity. I think really we just have to give a lot of props over to Ghost for like the way they've been playing, the aggression, for punishing all of these sort of plays that we've had from Luminosity. But at the same time, there's always going to be that sort of lucid thing in your brain where you're just like, yeah, but just look at how they're playing a lot of the time. They don't seem to have a lot of the strategy. They don't seem to have a lot of these plays where you go, okay, why did you push that? Why didn't you go together? Why are you just individually peaking? Why are you giving these fights? Like,
and we see the individual qualities time and time again. We just see that glimmer of hope. Like, for example, like whenever Henny pulls out a Desert Eagle, or he hits that old frag, or Lucas comes in with the AK. Like apart from Nekis because he's on 216, every single player so far on this T side, on this T side from Luminosity that we just saw, has shown something, has shown a glimmer of hope, has shown some potential. But it's been on the wrong rounds. It's not been connected. Yeah. It's been very disjointed so far.
Well, quick pistol round. Looking to be thrown in from the tees. They're trying to sneak down all of them. Make their way towards Nekkers. Has a huge range advantage with this USP. He's going to find the opener as well. Steel will be going down. It looks like he's even going to get the second as well. Great start from Nekkers at least. And actually, he's just looking to do it all alone. He's just had 4 kills. 5, never mind. You said you wanted a step up of individuals. There's one.
There is definitely one. And that was more frags than he got.
Had 2 kills.
That's more frags than he got in the entire first half.
That's more than double.
Yeah. That's Counter-Strike in a nutshell. And once again, like we mentioned it with Henny and Lucas, like they are such a high level of players that can pull off in any second if they get the chance. Nekkers, yes, he's not that high of a level, but he's just below, and we see that here. Those odds.
Well, if you believe in the Luminosity company, you can make quite a bit of money.
That's a close call for Lucas. Almost 5 kills there.
And he doesn't have a gun. He's just waiting to buy into the next round, but that could actually be a little bit of a pain for him. Luckily, he is still going to be able to stop them getting any sort of bomb plant. Now, Steel actually invested a bit more heavily into this round. Tried to get some utility and wanted to try and fake out the push. It doesn't work, so he's going to be a little bit off in this round with what he can purchase. Could buy an AK with head armor or without head armor.
Yeah, I think he's just going to go for UMP. I thought or something.
Be the utility man.
Yeah.
Yeah, straight.
Or maybe just a Desert Eagle. Just Glock?
No.
P250, there we go. He's been pretty good with the P250, so I wouldn't say it's very much off base. Now, smokes are landing in, setting up for the execute. First set of grenades go over, and you can see to the top left in that minimap that the players are setting in. Once again, this is such an important thing. Take in main control. The CT side just pushing in. You can even have this refrag position from Nekkers. Actually, it's not even a refrag anymore. There are 2 guys pushed into main. And this kind of forces Ghost Gaming to either retake main and use utility to retake it, or just go somewhere else.
Yeah, it's going to be ready and waiting for them to drop down. Now, he only has a smoke in hand, so it's more of just a counter to try and stop them taking this portion of the map. Now, they have left Lucas alone, like completely alone on that B site. It's not like a sort of rotational position, although Henny is going to start to make his way in. He's got the AWP fairly early on in this match. We spoke about that sort of USP in the previous round. There was a reason for that. He wanted to make sure he could get this trusty AWP. But now we see the push coming in. It's going to be that B side take from the T side. Already wrapping around. Look at the upper control they've taken. And it's completely overrun this CT side. Absolutely nothing they could do. Steel waiting for rotations, but he doesn't have the best weapon for that. It isn't going to matter on the rest of the map as Yell is left alone. 1 versus 3. And he may just try and retrieve a weapon of sorts. There is an AWP down somewhere.
Try and find a gun. But he can't find anything. At least not in this area. On 1v3, I should say. Ghost Gaming gonna hit 13. And we have a look at the money on the left side. Yes, Nekkers and Yell can buy, but unless Yell survives with an AK-47, Henny's gonna have no weapon.
They're gonna survive.
Yeah.
I didn't. But the thing is, I don't think they can buy in this round. I think realistically, they should take the hit. Because you can get an AWP into the next. You can drop a rifle over. Like, you can pretty much have a good full buy into the next round.
Yeah.
Rather than just
deagles.
going for what is some messy buy in this one.
Yeah. And I think it's the right choice.
Yeah. It's a hard choice because of the scoreline. That's the biggest thing. If you take this as an individual round, this is 100% what they should be doing.
Yeah.
But if you take it in the scale of the scoreline, you could understand if they went for an insane force buy here to try and bring themselves back. But
and when Lucas can start things off like this, like he can basically trade HP with Steel, who's on almost a full buy. You start believing, and Yell's Deagle comes into play, but answer back from Wardell. Neptune getting out of Ivy. Steel's close range, no magic with the USP this time around. Kusta just searching for this frag, but the round with the bomb being down already decided. It's going to be 14 on the board for Ghost, and Luminosity on the wrong end of a 2-map victory.
well, yeah, it's sort of very interesting. I made a sort of tweet the other day about like young players in Counter-Strike who are just it's sort of, I'm jealous basically about, like, you got Sergey winning an event, 300k event, 16 years old. Brolin signing for
Fnatic.
one of, if not the most legendary organization in CS, Fnatic, at 16 years old. You got Stown obviously also doing work over at Star Series. Is he the same age, also 16?
Yeah.
And then you've also got Neptune here, which I think
also
is
16.
like also 16 years old and already like strutting his stuff, playing up against players who have literally been in like major finals.
Exactly. And trust me, like, if the rest of the scene just can like replicate what's happening in Denmark right now with talents, then we will have so many players on a high level, internationally and nationally. Of course.
You should see the team, mate. Much better, to be honest.
But yeah, like, the young players are really coming and dominating the game. And it's also thanks to, like, all these ways that you can now play the game on a serious level. Most of these players, Steel specifically, for example, like, one of the players who was in the scene back when I was playing professionally, like, he's had to grow up with CS the hard way, when there were no tools.
Oh, that's messy. The nice shot was the first one, but he'll eventually get there. Even picking up the AWP in celebration, but we'll put it back to the floor. 15-5. Yeah, I would say as well for someone like Neptune, being under Steel, someone who has been around for so long, is perfect. Like, it's pretty much one of the best players you could get as a mentor, obviously, in terms of like attitude.
That's the mix you need right now in teams. You need to have the entry fraggers and the players who can come out and really dominate the game aim-wise. Need to be young and hungry, and then you have to have the experience, let's say, of a Steel. Doesn't matter if he's Brazilian
and
or
the willingness to listen, but hey, we're going to have to stop for a second as the SMGs, the aggressive plays, the ability to win a round from absolutely nowhere has just come into play for this Luminosity side. Wardell trying his best to be the hero as Kusta is saying, yeah, you know what, buddy, I'm a little bit low on HP. I'm going to back out of this one.
Wow, okay.
Still manages to find the kill onto Steel.
This would
catches
be
the rotator.
Ultimate turnaround if they can take this.
Yeah,
in a 2v5.
This would be the final knife into the back of Luminosity if they manage to steal this one away. The lemon and salt rubbed into the wounds, which
at the same time.
It's pretty painful.
Never tried it, but I can imagine.
Kusta, he should not be able to win this battle. What? Lucas?
Okay.
How does he get that one? It's 7 HP. Still finding these frags. Just left into a 2 versus 2.
Henny's position is so key because he can either win or lose the round right now. And to be honest, that's where you want your star player.
Yeah, the question is, though, he hasn't necessarily been the star so far. It's going to be him versus Wardell, or at least that's the way it looks. The rotation has come in now. They're going to go for Bogdan's Law. Again, Kusta used to be a primary AWPer, so no real detriment there. Wardell can rifle too. I'm going to look to try and smoke off the remaining position, although I wouldn't be surprised if Yell pushed through. The timing, though, gets the better, but it's all right. Wardell trades, but Yell is very quick to push out. It gets close, but it's no cigar. However, look how much money there is still over on that T side. Luminosity, it's not like that was any sort of eco or just half buy. That was all their money, so they still have to invest everything again.
Yeah. 2 UMPs, weapons being thrown around, not a lot of utility on Yell, not a lot of utility on Henny, only 1 kid on Nekis. And that's what you get when only 1 player survives. The bank of Ghost Gaming is strong. Initial map control not being taken towards that A bomb site now, but towards B. Lucas is around that corner. Flashing in now. Coaster for steal. Usually it's the other way around, but let's wait and see how this goes. Just basically headshot spotting on the back of that train. Sees nothing. Okay, clears that. Clears upper. Goes to the duel here. Pre-fires on the top spot. Goes to the spray on the second one. Wins it with 30 HP to spare. And Kust is just like meticulously going through the checklist of all the spots you need to check in order to take this side and throw this flashbang and wait for his teammate to come in and do the execute. But this one, they have not thought about this. But it seems like Sabrosa somehow, some way, still like feels a tingling sensation in his spine. There's something wrong.
Spidey senses a tingling and steel.
Wow.
He's blown his load a little bit early. He will still manage to find the kill, and actually the T's are going to opt to execute off of this. You can see the rest of the CT side are all on the site. They've got the read, they have the information, and Henny's going to drop the bomb. Seems like at least Yell's a little bit confused as to where he's dying from, and Steel's still going to look to re-aggress in towards this spot. Nice shot from Henny, though, will end his life. And now Wardell and Kuster left in a slightly better position, but it isn't going to go any better than last time. 15-7. Another round on the board for the CTs, but Pain Train is not done just yet.
And even though Steel messes up his spray there with the UMP-45, the information he gains and also the space he creates by being in that position wins them the round. Yes, he doesn't get any really like big amount of frags or anything, but he basically wins his team the round by
also the
doing that
thought
push.
In the back of your head.
Yeah,
You
exactly.
know that there's someone behind, even though he actually
that's the
left.
space, right? That's one of the things in Counter-Strike that is kind of hard to understand unless you play the game or talk to players who play the game a lot. The importance of creating space around you. And that is exactly the scenario where you'll be constantly thinking about there's someone behind of you. So you keep checking angles. And that may, if you go in for an angle on towards the bomb site, you'll have to create, like, pick 2 angles at the same time. And that creates that space. Very, very short description of a phenomenon that most CS players could talk about.
Look at the CT
for hours.
side, though. They've banked right into this B side. There's only going to be Yell right towards this Ivy spot. Other than that, they have no control of this A side whatsoever. And although we talk about B and the ability to retake it, the percentage chance of retaking that side being probably one of the highest in the game, the fact is, the A site, not so much. There's so many angles to check, so many positions to clear, and if you look at the amount of utility that's currently there for the CT side, they just won't have the ability to do it. I think this may be the beginning of the end, unless the T side makes some serious mistakes, because they're in a 5v4, and now it just all comes down to individual aim. If the crossfires are held by the T side, there should be absolutely no hope. And I like the fact that Subrosa, he's only got a Tech 9. So they're basically using him as a giant decoy. Just run around, make noise, use it to his advantage, and he's still going to take one with him. Will he get the second as well? Yell has to be very careful. He's going to use the AWP. Henny as well in this retake. They're actually making this work. They brought this back. Still, though, the trade's going back and forward, and the bomb's starting to tick away. They need to get somebody onto that, and they need to do it soon. They're trying to bait, but it's actually going to be the peak coming out from Steel to end the life of one. I think this is the end of the match. Ghost Gaming, it took them a little bit longer than we might have expected, but they do still win this in a dominant fashion, and they get themselves, more importantly, the 2-0.
2-0 is indeed the scoreline. We're going to throw it over to the analyst desk to see what they have to say.
Take it away, machine.
Well, Tom likes to blow his load a little bit too early, according to his commentary. He's got to be careful with the words, the young man. Could be mistaken for things there.
Interesting character, that young Tom.
Yeah. Balding before he's hit 30.
Yeah, I mean, what's next?
Just all downhill from there, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
You end up a budget Moses at that point.
I think he's already gone that road way deep. So
Too deep.
Enough
Far
of
too
Tom.
deep. Enough of Tom. See, we're nice to risk. We'll chime in on him a little bit later.
Yeah, exactly.
Who we need to chime in on.
His time will come later.
Oh, yes. He'll be ready for it. Now, this game again. Okay, Ghost struggled with the last few rounds, but a respectable scoreline. It was solid stuff from them once again. It's what we expected, though, given their trained performances that we've seen thus far. But it's more just I hate to keep going over Luminosity, but we just expect so much better. I'd love to, like, be able to speak to Steel or Zach and say, okay, what is going on with your T sides? Like, what is the plan here?
I'm not really sure if at least I expect much more, because the sample size starts to become quite big right now, and it just seems like the way they play is very individualistic. It just lacks cohesion. They might think it's cohesion, but from where I'm looking at, you know, it's these kind of plays that will give them an opening. You know, Lucas just coming in with a deagle and trying to create mayhem. But 11-3 the scoreline, and then obviously, you know, it ends up being 12-3 in the end. It just speaks for itself. There's a round, for example, where Wardo pushed Ivy with AWP. He managed to literally just keep 2 Ts at bay for a solid 45 seconds in T base. They knew he was aggressive somehow.
And he always, but that's the thing, right? Every time we've seen Wardell on train, he constantly pushes Ivy.
And we know from previously on Inferno that Luminosity definitely has gone through Ghost's demos, and they know kind of the tendencies. So then you would kind of have some kind of a plan on how do we react, because obviously if he is going to be pushed up, that's going to be a gap. That's going to be one less player on our bomb site, for example. That's going to be way longer rotation towards the inner bomb site. So there's a lot of outs that you have as a TE team. But instead, they try to contest him, and obviously it falls apart once again. Just one by one. So what's really just, I don't know, it's just hard to watch them play where they don't really, if you compare it to two, when you're looking at the last few rounds of Ghost Gaming, trying to get over the finish line, you could tell it will eventually happen, because they always, every single time, they put themselves in a situation that's very winnable. Like in that last one, it was a 5-on-4 for them, obviously very winnable, but so effortlessly did they manage to get to the bomb site, get the bomb down, and get into some really, really good positioning to finally seal the deal.
Now, while we got the stats on our screen, now one man I want to point out again is Nekiz. Over and over again, he is a man that's been able to deliver for Luminosity. That many people, I guess, going into this, they focus on the more iconic names that you know from this scene, but he's in a position where actually he could be getting quite fed up with this, because he's the one being able to deliver for him time and time again, but the results are just not showing that from the rest of the team.
I feel like so far, even though I was going on about considering the talent that there is from Brazil right now in NA, you know, should there be like some kind of a mix-up with this team and INTS? Probably, possibly. But now, like, looking at this lineup, I feel like there's definitely skill. But it's just like,
without a doubt,
they need to have like a week of where they don't play any official matches. They just really have a boot camp that involves no actual practice or gameplay whatsoever. It's all going to be all about theorizing the game, just looking at all the demos, just reconsidering the whole approach they have for the game of Counter-Strike. Yes, it's fine if you have a simplistic way of playing. Yeah, you can get away with that, but you can't be as simplistic as they are. You can't be just like, yes, we will manhandle every single opponent with just individual skill, and we will trade well, and we'll just explode our way into the bomb site.
Unrealistic.
It's very much so. You need to be able to utilize, if you have mollies in your disposal, if you have smokes, you have flashes, have basic things that you use them for. It's no witchcraft. It's nothing new. It's basic Counter-Strike. Just go through those kind of things. Rebuild the way that you played the game. Just a tiny bit. We're not talking like massive difference. I'm just saying add a bit of thought behind the process, and it would actually make a world's difference. So for me, that question is, do they have Zach still as a coach?
Yeah, Zach's still the coach. That's what I
what
said.
is he doing? Like, what's going on here?
This is what I want to say. I want to be able to like speak to both Steel and Zach and say, what is going on with this roster? Like, are you not practicing as much as you should be? Is there issues going on still? Like, because this again, they should be able to drill this out.
I'm afraid it's possibly some of the individuals on the team that have some kind of like a thought process that this is the way we want to play, this is how we like to play, and this is how we're going to make it work.
Maybe not.
Obviously, I'm just theory crafting here.
Yeah, of course.
It's nothing to do with, I'm just hypothesis basically. But that's the possibility, because they should have the tools to actually work as a unit.
They should, and they won't at the moment. Maybe as we get a little bit further on, it's crazy. We're already approaching the end of the season, right? So it could be pretty bad.
How much further do we wait?
Yeah, I know. We've given them a season. We've been critical at the start. Then they looked a little bit better, and now we've got to this situation again where there's nothing new being shown from this lineup. But Natu, you know what time it is. We are going to be looking at something that Betway's put together on who could be the clutch master and what the pros think is the #1 clutcher we can see.
Who is the best clutcher in CSGO?
Oh, Zipex, for sure. He's really good.
Honestly, myself. You didn't see the clutch against Mibar?
I think so. In BAPS, and he jumped down and then you no-scope a guy.
Yeah. I'm just kidding. I would say Sipnix. He's a really good clutcher, a really great mind using it in clutches where he just outplays the opponent.
Best clutcher, I would have to say Zipnix, because it seems like he's always at the right place at the right time. He's really smart, he knows what to do, so it's really hard to play against.
I would say Cold Zero.
Yeah. Not Zipix.
Nah.
There's like a different ways of clutching. Some players like to play it really aggressive, and some players like to play it really smart. I feel like everyone can clutch really well, but I'm just gonna say Nico, just because I don't want to say Civics, because everyone else says it. But
Zipping is simple for me, yeah.
I think the most annoying player to play against in clutch situation is Flusha. There's just something about how he moves and how he plays that's just so freaking annoying. I don't know why.
Yeah. Who is the best clutcher? I mean, you say you want to be everything, but can you be the best clutcher, or are there other guys that can clutch better than you?
I can't give it to myself there. I guess, like, obviously, the every answer, most likely, or the big answer is probably Zipex. I guess you gotta give it to Zipex, I guess, yeah. Zipex, yeah, Zipex.
For a while now, and probably even at this moment, Zipnix.
I think this one should be Shipnix. I think everyone say that.
Of course, Zipix is really famous in those kind of situations. He's really good and he's really hard to play against. I know that because I played against him a lot and a lot of clutches as well. And it's hard. I think I will say Zipix. He's really good.
I think that Zipnix is the best. Honestly, I don't think there's anyone that's like close to him. So I have to say it too.
I don't know. Zipnix, I think. Zipnix is amazing. When I see his clutch, he know how to use every nade, he know how to use every situation. So for me, Zipnix for sure.
So when MRBR, when you guys are in a 1v3 situation against Zipix, and Zipix is one player by himself, are you still like really nervous? Like, okay guys, we can actually lose this round because of Zipix?
Of course, so we take him more. So we say, guys, don't make his chance. Because when you give the first chance, you know how to ending. So we say, just don't give chance and we'll be fine.
I'd say Zipix is the best clutcher, like pretty easily actually. You see it every day, so like every time he plays, it's a clutch, yeah.
No one seems to know how to say his name. Zipnix, whatever everyone else was saying. It was a whole flurry of different ways to say it.
If you just read it and finish, it would be Xup Uhdexen.
Really? Great. Just to make it even. Oh, yeah, you read it in the yep. Either way, however you say his name, everyone seems to agree on the man of who it is.
That got a little bit overwhelming in the end there. Too many.
I'm surprised not enough simple.
Well, that's what I was actually when I was watching that.
Yeah.
When the question was asked, obviously like Zipnix is up there, for obvious reasons, but you don't want to forget about Simple because, like time and time again, he has come out of rounds that he has had absolutely zero, or should have had zero chance on winning. So because his mechanical skill is so phenomenal, I mean, Zipnix has this uncanny ability to be a step ahead of the game, position himself correctly, just check the right corners, have the right timing, come time and time again. Obviously, that is a very, very cool quality to have, and he definitely deserves all the praise in the world, 100%. But then what Simple has over him is he has so much raw talent, raw skill that he can come out on. I mean, we all remember what happened in Cologne in 2016 on Cash, with the double no scopes, for example. He can deliver those kind of situations, those kind of rounds. Obviously, they're also more memorable just because of just the highlight type of way that they usually happen. So I mean, you definitely don't want to forget him. Also, I feel like we want to credit someone, Flash from the past, in terms of being a quality, one of the world's best and world's best clutcher, actually. And that's it, right? He used to be phenomenal when it comes to clutches back in the day. Obviously, not as much nowadays, but
times change.
Not that many years ago, he used to have some ridiculous numbers on him, and he also always had a great read on situations and will come out on top far too many times for anyone's liking that's playing against him.
Or for you guys at home, maybe if you want to tell us who you think the best clutcher is, hit me and Natu up. You can find us on social media. Do it that way. Hit us up on Twitter. Simple, I would definitely prefer over Zipnik. Zipnik has had great moments, but you alluded to your reasons there yourself. And what you guys might want to look at as well, if you think you're good at playing the clutch master role, maybe you need to head over to ESEA, sign up, get involved in some of the games there. And if you are good enough, if you are a clutch master, if you have the natural raw ability, you can make your way into the MDL, which will give you your opportunity to come and potentially play in Pro League, where you boys are currently facing it through for Ents on the European side.
It's tough.
That's real tough.
It's super tough.
It's a horrible situation for you guys.
We're not even looking good for playoffs at this point in time.
Win Star Ladder, can't win MDL.
It's just the way it is.
It's just Counter-Strike at the moment. It's just Europe in general.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Well, it is time for us to go to a break, but when we come back, we'll have your next matchup, and it's going to be Renegades going up against Cloud9.